Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton, National Spokesperson for the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition. As the Home Improvement Editor for Good Morning America, I can tell you firsthand that I know how devastating home fires can be. And I also know how quickly home fire sprinklers can control and in most cases extinguish a home fire. That's why when my wife and I bought this 35-year-old Colonial, we retrofitted it with home fire sprinklers, both to protect our property, but more importantly, to protect our children. In the next few minutes, I'd like to show you how we planned, designed, and installed our home fire sprinkler system.
A retrofit project with any occupied building or with the homeowners, I think the most important thing is having good open communication with the homeowners and to describe to them exactly what you're going to be doing and where you're going to be working.
Well, come on in, David. This is our new house. About 30 years old. We spent a lot of time over the last few weeks painting in here, doing wall prep. One of the things I'm really concerned about is how much damage we're going to have to do to these walls and ceilings now after we've done all this work.
Well, it won't be too bad. We'll have to open a few wall sections up and we can utilize some of the closets to conceal the piping.
All right. So there are ways in an older home like this to keep from having to open up too much.
Definitely.
Wall and ceiling area. All right, let me show you around, give you kind of the lay of the land here. Does a bathroom require sprinklers?
Well, most bathrooms don't, but a bathroom this size you would have to.
Really? Okay. So this is small enough so it won't need a sprinkler in here?
Yeah, you wouldn't need one.
Okay. Let me show you the third floor here. Now this part of the attic is unfinished except for this plywood flooring down here. Is that going to be a problem for you?
No, Ron, we'll just cut it up in strips what we need to and we can lay it back down afterwards.
Right back? Okay, great. So this area concerns me a lot. If there were a fire, this would fill up with smoke pretty fast. I wouldn't want to be cut off from my daughter's room down there. Well, this is the dining room, and then finally out here is the kitchen. So David, you've seen pretty much the whole house now. Any problems, challenges?
Well, the biggest challenge is going to be on your first floor. There's not a lot of closets to use to conceal piping, so that means we're going to have to try to open up some wall sections to hide the piping.
A lot of it?
Well, that's where the planning is going to come in, and we'll have to get some scale drawings for you and try to minimize the number of openings. Okay. Doing any kind of residential retrofit, the key points is to think about in your planning the aesthetics of how the sprinkler system is going to look to the homeowner. You want to make sure you can conceal as much piping as possible and be least obtrusive as possible. I say thinking outside of the box in terms of where you would actually put the piping and being creative and finding spots and utilizing closets if possible. Look at the house to see where people have visual contact when they walk into rooms. If they're walking into a living room, you want to avoid keeping piping or things on the opposite side of the living room where they're going to see it right away. You might want to leave it on the side where you'd walk in. But you could look for areas where you can go into wall channels and try to get the most bang for your buck. If you could use a wall channel and actually pipe 2 or 3 sprinkler heads from it, that's great because then you've created the least amount of demolition and reconstruction work in the future. When you're doing a retrofit with the homeowners, one of the things you want to do is make it clear to them what you have to do, and that's also going to come in the form of your actual blueprints where you show them where your piping is going. And then you want to talk with the homeowners about their schedules, find out what their daily schedules are like so that you could be working in opposite ends of the home where they are so that you're not disrupting their daily life. And you know, occasionally there may be some things, furniture or things they have to move, and you can tell them what has to be done. You don't want to have the homeowner clearing out his entire house just because you're there working in the living room. It may just be in the living room, they may have to move a few things when they're working or if they want to protect some items.
So these plans have the location of every run of pipe and every sprinkler for the entire house, right?
Yep, the whole house.
This is the basement. This is the first floor. Here's the kitchen. Now, where are the sprinklers going to go in here?
Well, for example, in the kitchen, in fact, we have one going in right here above the cabinet.
Right up
We have a horizontal sidewall about 6 inches below the ceiling.
There's something I didn't tell you the other day when you were here. I think I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to be building a pantry in here, which is going to stick out probably this far. It might go up to the ceiling. Is that going to be a problem for you?
Yes, that will be a problem. We're going to have to look into another possible location for putting that sprinkler head in the kitchen.
So part of your process is to bring the plans back, go over them with the homeowner, looking for stuff just like this that you did pick up on the first survey,
exactly,
right?
Yep.
Okay.
First thing we had to do was look at the water supply to the house.
So you're going to be tapping into the household water system, right?
I hope so.
And where will you actually do that?
Well, we would do that right close by where it comes in, if the pressure's adequate.
Right here?
Yeah. I got a little gauge we'll check.
So I've got city water here, obviously.
Yeah.
So what would you like to see here?
I'd love to see 100 PSI. Then I know we'd be safe. Checking the pressure, we were looking at about 35 to 40 pounds of pressure. So the pressure would look rather low. Also then in contact with the water authorities, we weren't going to be allowed to tie into the existing water line. We would actually have to bring in another water line from the street. So at that point, we looked at the alternative of providing a tank and a pump.
So that's what this is all about over here.
Yeah, we have a 300-gallon plastic water storage tank and an electric booster pump.
So together, the storage tank and the pump will provide enough flow and pressure to operate the system.
For 10 minutes.
Well, I was going to put my pool table right here, but what are you going to do?
Well, we'll see about tucking it all out of the way for you.
So we can have both.
Right. The water storage tank is a 300-gallon water storage tank, and we have it set up with just a manual fill valve, and we basically keep the tank filled up to the 300 gallons. And the 300 gallons is adequate for the amount of water you would need. It would provide a 10-minute supply to your system. The water supply from there's a feed line, a supply line that goes to the booster pump. And the sprinkler system actually has water, it's fully pressurized. And the pump will only operate if there's a drop of pressure. So if a sprinkler head activates, the pressure is going to drop in the system, causing the pump to start running. And that pump will run, and it'll keep running until that tank is dry. But that's your 10-minute supply and enough time for occupants to get out of the house.
The pipe specified for home fire sprinkler systems is plastic, CPVC, or chlorinated polyvinyl chloride. It's similar to PVC water pipe, but more heat resistant and less likely to melt. It's joined using a pipe cement. Because the ceilings are low here in the basement, we're installing cages to protect the sprinkler heads from being accidentally bumped.